The last couple of weeks, I've wanted to recover my shop after I went on vacation and had lower sales. And I'm going to walk you through what I did and if it was successful or not. So, hi, I'm Daisha, and welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I talk about small business, my bookish business that I run out of the small studio, and Etsy, and just anything that goes along with that, including social media marketing. And I just love sharing my experience and hope that you can gain something from that. So if that interests you, then come along with me. A couple of weeks ago, I posted a video talking about my experience with, instead of putting my shop on vacation mode where you cannot be found to make any sales, period, I changed my processing time and extended those so that way people could still shop. It would just take longer for them to get their product, but that way they would know that that was the case. So in that video, I talked about some things that I was going to do to hopefully like rev back up the sales, because honestly, it was slow before vacation and I was scared it was going to get worse. So in that video, I talked a little bit about what I was going to do when I got back. So to start building that momentum after I got back, the first thing I did obviously was to fix the processing times to reflect what I could actually do. So like my annotation kits, things I can get out easily with paid shipping, I changed them back to 1 to 2 days. My things that take longer in snail mail, like my stickers and individual bookmarks, went back to 7 days. And my annotated books went back to like 5 days. But I don't think that counts weekends. So I changed all those. But then the biggest thing that helped, I ran a mostly site wide sale. I put my annotation kits, my bookmarks, stickers, blind date with a book, all of those things were on sale. The only thing that wasn't on sale are my annotated books, and that's because I can't discount my time like that. It takes me hours to transfer the annotations in a book. So I did not feel that lowering the price of those would serve me. But everything else was at 30% off. That's pretty much the most that I could give off without losing money. However, I knew that that would be a very like appetizing kind of price where people would be like, "Oh, I need to shop now because like it's never this low." Um, and in doing that on Etsy, they're going to, promote the fact that you have a sale. I believe anybody that's favorited your shop or anything like that, they'll get a notification that you're running a sale. Um, if they favorited certain items, I think it'll tell them that those are on sale. So that's what I was hoping for, was to create some hype. Also on Instagram, I made some different graphics, especially for my stories that said like sale 30% off, gave them the link. And I also did some like promotional videos where I just kind of like showed me using the annotation kit instead of being like, hey, buy this. It was me reading Binding 13 on vacation and I had my annotation key there. And that's kind of like what I used to promote it. And my alarm's going off because my food is ready. Hold on. So basically, just doing some subtle marketing, like I like to call it, to show off the products without being like flashy in your face. That's annoying. So I did that. On Thursday, I did my newsletter to my email list, which has like almost 300 people in it. And like, hey, big sale on my shop, yada, yada. Basically blasted that to them, as well as just gave them some updates. So this is what happened. Obviously, I noticed an increase in volume, right? Because people are trying to shop. And I started the sale. I could probably look back at the exact date, but I'm just going to go from March 20th because that's the day before I got back from vacation, all the way till March 31st, which was the day that I stopped running the sale. So during that time, I got 10 orders, which doesn't seem like a lot. However, before I left for vacation, I wasn't really selling anything anyways. I did have some orders during vacation. I didn't include that here. But this is what I got because of the sale. So I made $205 in revenue on 10 orders. Most of those orders were annotation kits. However, I did sell some blind date with a books, and then I think I did have an annotated book, even though those weren't on sale. So what is important to remember here? Because you might be thinking, well, you ran a sale, so you made less profit. However, Etsy wants to make money. So if you are selling products, they are going to pick up on that momentum and show your products more. So if they know, like, hey, this person made one sale, see if they can do it again, see if they can do it again. So during this process, like as I was making these orders, it's good, you know what I mean, business for them to keep showing. And then also remember, it's one order, but it could be multiple products. Like it could be 5 products in one order. So during that range, I made $205 in revenue, and I was happy with those results that I had because like I said, all I was trying to do is just bring some of that traffic back. And some of them were repeat customers. So that just shows like Etsy too that like, hey, they bought this thing again. Like they're saying like this is good. Like you bought it once, okay, you bought it again. That's saying that that's repeatable, that's dependable, that's high quality if someone's willing to support you again. So really cool that I got to have repeat customers. Now here is the anomaly. So a couple days, honestly, I think most of these sales were at the beginning of the sale. At the end, they kind of trickled off, which is fine. But after that, we begin April. I think it was either April 2nd. I woke up and I had a $200 notification saying somebody bought annotation kits. They bought like 10 for their whole book club. And then part of the reason the profit was so high or the revenue was so high on that is because they did pay for expedited shipping. However, I still made $170 off that order. So I feel like even though the sale was over, the momentum was still going. So from April 1st until now, today, which is April 5th, which I haven't sold anything today. So in those 4 days, I made $379 in revenue. And that is incredible. I've sold annotated books, which are like my higher ticket price item. Somebody bought $125 worth of books. So it was 2 annotated books, which I'm in the middle of working on now. Which, of course, when it's a higher ticket price item like that, you don't expect it to sell as often. So that was awesome. Like I said, I had the big bulk order of annotation kits. And then I had someone reach out to me for, they wanted kind of a more customized order. And yeah, I just feel like that sale helped give me the boost that I needed to remind Etsy who I am and what I'm capable of if given the chance. So yeah, so basically just my order, like the listings that typically perform well are the ones that pick back up. Things like my regular stickers really haven't done much, but those things that I'm more niche and known for have. So I do think sales create urgency, like people that have had me on their radar or have purchased from me before and like been thinking about it. That sale created urgency to make them want to buy immediately instead of putting it off and just favoriting. Etsy favors active shops. So by showing that people are buying from me, that I'm shipping it out, that gives you just a boost. And also, who doesn't love a sale? Like it's basically psychology, right? Like you see that it was a certain price and you're getting it for this. That math just makes people feel good, myself included. So I just think the time that I set the sale, like creating that urgency and bringing people into the shop, helped get me back on a good um, place, especially on the marketplace. So, in conclusion, as someone who gets very anxious going out of town because I know that it's going to affect my shop and it's something that I, care about deeply and want to be successful, and I know that I'm going to have to work to get it back. It's not impossible to do. It's just going to take a little bit more work and a little bit of sacrifice on your end, which for me, it was, just giving up a percentage of the profit to have the sale in the first place and a little bit more time of putting in marketing. However, I do think it was definitely worth it to, build that momentum back up. Um, Again, I've never put it on vacation mode. It was just changing the processing times. So I can't speak for vacation mode specifically, but either way, it definitely will lower the sales. So I'm happy that I could make some of that back with here. And also, I'm going to make a short about this if it hasn't already went live, but I made my 600th sale or my 600 order on Etsy. And I think that is incredible. So yeah, I'm just super pumped. Um, but if you made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope this inspired you or gave you some ideas of what you can do to kind of revamp your shop as well. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see. I know somebody commented recently that they wanted to see like some social media marketing type things. So I am planning to film a video along that line. But anything else you want to see, let me know. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.